Rupert Murdoch announcing he is stepping down from his roles as the chairman of both Fox and News Corp. The 92-year-old billionaire has sent a memo to his employees saying the time is right for him to take on what he's describing as different roles.
His son Lachlan will now head both companies while Rupert Murdoch transitions to the role of Chairman Emeritus in mid-November. Let's bring in our North America Bureau Chief, Jade McMillan, who is in Washington, D.C. Jade, huge story for the Murdoch media empire. What does it mean?
Well, Lisa, Rupert Murdoch says that he will be staying engaged in the editorial output of his employees, that he will continue reading their newspapers, watching their broadcasts and providing ideas and advice. And his son, Lachlan Murdoch, says that his father will continue to provide counsel to both companies. But in November, Rupert Murdoch says that he will be stepping down as chairman of both News Corp and Fox Corporation. He'll be moving to a position known as Chairman Emeritus, and he'll formally hand over the reins to his eldest son, Lachlan. Now, Rupert Murdoch's career has spanned 7 decades. He started with one newspaper in South Australia and went on to build a global media empire. He became an incredibly influential figure in the process, not just in media circles, but also in politics in Australia, the UK, and here in the United States. And one of the big questions now is how Lachlan Murdoch will handle these roles. What sort of direction will he take these companies in? I spoke to journalist David Falkenflik. He has written a book about Rupert Murdoch, and he had this to say about what he expects to see from his son.
He is not the same driving, ceaseless force that his father was in creating something from the Adelaide News to this enormous empire that we're now thinking about. And it's just very hard to imagine a world in which Lachlan is seen as anything but a manager of properties rather than an assembler of power and influence in the same way.
Yes, as David said, it comes at a very tumultuous time for the companies as well, doesn't it? Especially since that 2020 presidential election campaign.
Well, it's certainly been a rocky period for Fox Corporation. It settled a defamation lawsuit earlier this year. This is a case that was brought by a voting machines company in the United States that had accused the Fox News cable network of making false claims relating to its voting machines and the role that they played in the 2020 presidential election. Now, Fox settled that case for the equivalent of more than $1 billion Australian dollars. It avoided going to trial, a trial where Rupert Murdoch might have had to testify publicly. But by that point, that case had already exposed information that was embarrassing to the network, and it did part ways soon after with one of its most popular hosts, Tucker Carlson. Now, this is not the only scandal that Rupert Murdoch has confronted over his very long career, but he insisted in this note to his employees today that both he and these companies that his son Lachlan will now take over, that they are in robust health.